Hello from the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium here in Antigua, right in the heart of the Caribbean, just away north of Barbados and St Lucia for the Super 8 game between the West Indies and New Zealand. Hello, a warm welcome to the highlights of this important contest. Let's immediately have a look at the points table in the Super 8s. Australia dominated, there's no surprise about that, though their run rate isn't quite as good as the Sri Lankans, who lost that thriller yesterday. I only mention that because run rate is going to play a big part in this tournament when it gets tight at the end of the Super 8 stage. Absolutely crucial for the West Indians that they get it right today. They didn't quite get it right against the Australians the other day. That pitch was very good. This one was just a little blacker. There'd been some moisture. They had a Hessian covering. There was some sweating underneath it, and I think the feeling was it was tacky and might therefore offer something to the seam bowlers early on. When the coin went up in the air, it was Stephen Fleming, the New Zealand captain, who got it right, and he was indeed happy to bowl first in these conditions. Confirmation of the sides. New Zealand, of course, do have some injury problems. It means that Peter Fulton comes in at the top of the order instead of Lou Vincent. Hamish Marshall gets a game. Ross Taylor's still out. That's a very, very strong seam bowling attack. Shane Bond and Michael Mason are in good form. The West Indies have one surprising change. Lendl Simmons, the young batsman and related, of course, to Phil Simmons, is in that team, and Jerome Taylor is out of it. We'll get straight into the commentary box now and hear first up from Damien Fleming and Michael Holden.
So a single off the first ball for Chris Gale. Oh, that's good to get the nerves out of the way. And what about yourself, Michael? You did the pitch report down there. Were you surprised by Fleming's decision to bowl first?
No, not at all. I expect that the ball will do a little bit this morning. It just seemed that there was a bit more moisture in this pitch than the one that Australia played the West Indies on. And I expect that the ball will grip. If it lands on the seam, the cord in that seam just may grip a bit and just may get a bit of lateral movement. Nothing to encourage the bowlers as we saw on that pitch, really, though. It should dry out reasonably quickly.
Gale advances and he hits well over mid-off all the way for 4.
Well, this just may make Shane Bond think a little bit more about what he's doing instead of just running up and bowling the same line and length all day. Even if he had mistimed it, he had a good chance of clearing the man at mid-off because he didn't play across the line of the ball. He was hitting down the ground, which is what he should be doing. Hit down the ground at all times.
Whoa. There's a misfield from McCullum. So there's a bye there. Maybe a change of pace there from Shane Bond. Fooled everyone.
Chris Gale was getting on the back foot, getting ready to punch it through the offside. Slow delivery from Shane Bond. Just no pace, no bounce. You don't see fast bowlers bowling that sort of delivery very often. Slow deliveries, yes, but not in that manner. That was almost like a pitcher, a baseball pitcher, doing a knuckleball. Have a look at this.
They're pushing down the back of the ball. Geez, if he could get those grubbers to go straight, be the best slow ball in the history of the game.
Using fingers there on that particular delivery that fast bowlers don't usually employ at all. Fast bowlers usually use the thumb under the ball, index finger and the next finger beside it, basically those 3 fingers.
It's a nick and it's caught. Good reward for some superb fast bowling by Bond. Good catch by Styris. So Chanderpaul's innings is over. He's back to the dressing rooms.
Well, this has been good bowling by Shane Bond. Very upright seam, just kept that line going. Chanderpaul pushing a bit far away from his body. Again, that's the frustration of not getting bat and ball very often, not getting runs on the board. Well, we thought one would blink first. We didn't know who. It's the batsman who has blinked first. It's 14 for 1.
just fingertips perhaps. But it went pretty hard. Well, not pretty hard, very hard. Fulton it is, diving to his right, the biggest man in the New Zealand team, and it took his height to get the fingertips to it.
2 metre Peter, they call him. He needed to be 3.
Just short, hammered away, and you would expect that from Chris Gayle. Not a good delivery. Mark Nicholas has got accustomed to doing the ball-by-ball descriptions, and he called it, and I interrupted him. Your turn, Mark.
Don't bowl short at Gayle unless you can get it up throat high.
Hit hard. Wow, that was hit hard. It's a white ball against the green background, but he hardly saw it. On the way to the ropes, flash past the backward point. Another boundary for Gayle.
Gayle feasting on something a little tastier than Shane Bond. Bond out of the attack. Lovely little spell from him, and Franklin's lesser pace but also shorter length and lack of swing.
Magnificent. What a glorious extra cover drive. Perfection.
And not to a half volley either. The ball just back of a full half volley length. And Sarwan much more committed to the stroke than we saw him the other day against the Australians. That's delightful. Wonderful balance. Terrific hands working the ball into the space.
Over the top. Typical Chris Gayle shot, won't quite go all the way. So another boundary for Gayle.
Straight is the way to go for Gayle. He has the strength, he has the talent. That's as good as it gets.
And that's not too bad either.
Geez, did you see Scott Styrish at extra cover? I mean, there's an example of just how perfectly Gayle placed the ball, threaded it through the infield. There are 5 men now going into the ring, and Styrish simply put his hands on his knees. I'm given no chance by the power of that stroke. And the beauty of it, Gayle is the most lovely free batsman. You always feel you're watching something special. I shouldn't think anybody's going to make a cup of tea right now.
3 in a row. Well, I suppose if they were making a cup of tea and the New Zealanders, they'll be spluttering into it, because Gayle is looking very ominous here.
In a way, that's the best of the 3. He plays it a touch later, allows the ball to come to him and hits it when it's alongside him, just opening the blade a fraction.
Fantastic hit. He's looking to take the game away from the opposition. Took a long time to play himself in, Chris Gayle. The last couple of overs, he's been severe against Franklin. Good morning, Ian.
Morning, Siva, and this is a problem now for the New Zealanders. The West Indies plan is coming together. They knew that Shane Bond would be a threat. They knew they had to weather the storm. They lost Chanderpaul in the process, but the West Indies now have got the second part of plan A in motion, and that is to attack James Franklin.
Another good one. Doesn't get better. Probably the best shot in this game. This time from the bat of Ramnaresh Sarwan. Brings up the 50 partnership.
Well, there's some brilliant batting here by the West Indies, and they're seizing back control of this match. They lost the toss, they were asked to bat, and now they've done it quite nicely. And we've seen 3 or 4 tremendous shots, and that was perhaps the shot of the morning along the ground. The best place in the world to hit a bowler is straight back past them.
Inside edge taken, magnificent take. What a catch! Just when they needed a breakthrough, it's Jacob Oram again. And McCullum, a stunner.
That is a brilliant catch. Absolutely brilliant, because he's looking for the outside edge here, Brendan McCullum, and it's a thick inside edge and a big edge, and it goes a long way. And this is a breakthrough New Zealand, badly needed. Ball just straightening a little bit, big inside edge, and one-handed Brendan McCullum, acrobatic as you like. That's one of the best so far in the World Cup from a wicket-keeping point of view. One to treasure, especially as it's Sawan. West Indian number 3 makes his lonely way back. And the West Indies all of a sudden are 66 for 2, and it's drinks here in Antigua.
It's gone through. It's a good strike again from Samuels. He'll feel good about that. 19 overs gone, 74 for 2.
Well, that's Samuels at his best, it really is. Princely drives through the covers.
Up and appeal. Rudy Cudzin, slow death. And what a wicket again. The key to New Zealand's success in the recent past has been picking up wickets at regular intervals. They're doing it again here today.
Bounce here, extra bounce has confused Marlon Samuels and got him cramped for room. It has climbed quite high. He's a tall man, and look how much it bounced, and it may just have flicked the glove. There was a noise there. The New Zealanders were absolutely adamant. Samuels didn't want to go, but when you look back at Rudy Kurtzen, the pain is a long time coming. And in the end, he had to. He's gone for 9, 78 for 3.
Bounce, played on. Huge for Jacob Oram, huge for New Zealand. Not good at all for the men of the Caribbean.
Well, there is pressure on Brian Lara now. Chris Gale, the big hitting left-hand opening batsman, who's just starting to flourish here, finds himself on the way. Was it the extra bounce again from Oram, playing away from his body, and Oram is taking the game away from the West Indies. 15 for 3 he's got at the moment. Gale on his way for 44. West Indies in trouble, 81 for 4.
That's tight, very tight. A direct hit would have been a no chance for Dwayne Bravo. Lara wanted it. It's Lara's call, and Bravo seemed slow to respond.
Certainly did. Knew he'd hit it to Oram's right hand, and in trouble with the direct hit. Vittori too far away from the stumps to execute that smoothly and quickly. A shot of it there.
Brian Lara would have gone that time. That was one too far, one too many, one risk that he didn't need to take, and all Brendan McCullum had to do was hit.
Good pace from McCullum. He read, he knew what Lara was doing. Quick throw. Just the execution. Lara out by yards. There's a single since Gale's dismissal. There's plenty of them. One opportunity to run Lara out, and by McCullum missed, but generally they've been well communicated, well called, and pretty safe.
13 singles, a 2 and a 3 since Gale went. And there's another single. Means that Bravo will retain the strike. It's 100 for 4 now.
Brilliant, and this will be the first boundary from Lara. He got the little bit of width he needed to pace off the ball. Precision.
Just enough pace. That's what beat Jacob Oram. Pace off the bat. Placement was good, but if he had placed it in that very same spot without the extra pace from Daniel Vettori, Oram would have had enough chance, enough time to get across to cut it off.
It's one of these run-outs, boys.
Well, Lara's going to get away with this. Jacob Oram's got a long reach, but that's of no value to him here. And Styrus is frustrated. He thought he had Lara. New Zealand just very nervous here because they know what Lara is capable of.
Yes, that's a big wicket for New Zealand now. They'll be thinking they cannot afford for Lara to be batting right through until the 50 overs have been completed. Even if he's there with the tail, it will make such a big difference to the total that the West Indies will get. They need to get rid of him, New Zealand.
1 for 13 off 5 overs. His initial blast was a beauty. Used all the elements almost to perfection. And he started again in great fashion. He's picked up Bravo with his very first delivery.
He was swinging the ball away from the left-hander in his first spell. This is first delivery. Have a look at this. Look at the direction in which this ball goes. Normally, you expect it to come into the right-hander. It hasn't. Just held its own on that off-stump line. And the outside edge found. That's what Fleming was looking for. That's why he brought back Bond. And Bond has delivered again. 128 for 5 as the drinks cart comes out onto the ground.
Well, what a shot. It's only the third ball he's faced from Shane Bond, but he has crunched that away, Ramden. Just carrying on from yesterday. One of the shots of the day.
That wasn't that short, believe me. It wasn't that slow either. Just about 86 miles an hour.
Oh, yes, Peg,
Four
yes,
are
Peg.
prepared, in fact, but there are a couple more which can be used. It's quite a big square.
Good job down there, Jack.
West Indies 150 on the board, but they've lost 5 wickets. They're into the 37th over. Need something quite special now.
6 on it, boys.
Last footy, 56 balls. Big appeal again. Up goes the finger. Brian Lara walks. What a time to lose this man. Every time we've seen a partnership build, they've lost wickets. It's not a good thing for the West Indies.
And McCallum doesn't miss anything here. He took a magnificent catch today to get rid of Sarwan. Standing up to the wicket here, not always easy, but he makes it look very simple indeed. Safely taken. Hurls the ball into the air. New Zealand might feel here that this is just about the match. You never can tell, but with Lara gone for 37 looking dangerous, West Indies 150 for 6. They've still got a lot of overs left to bat. Straight to backward point. Well, that's the pressure. Lobbed off the cut shot. Oram takes the catch. 7 down. 158 for 7 now in the 42nd over. And the West Indies just continuing to disappoint.
And he was frustrated the last ball of the previous over. He's trying to make himself a little bit of width to play this particular shot. Again, the extra bit of bounce. And slicing it, bottom hand coming into play. Easy catch for Jacob Oram. It wasn't getting too much of strike, Dinesh Ramdan. Vettori a bit relieved. Expensive in his first spell. Picked up a wicket now. Dinesh Ramdan gone for 15. West Indies 158 for 7.
There he goes. Second delivery. That's a long way. That could be in the pool. Just short. Dwayne Smith with the obligatory 6 hit. Only second delivery. Had one yesterday as well. Of Brad Hogg. He was out next ball. What happens next here?
The longest part of the ground. And what a hit. He's a strong man against the turn. Cleared it quite easily.
Well, he's got that through. There's no sweeper. So Simmons finally frees himself and gets his first boundary. 21 deliveries for Lendl Simmons to get his first boundary. It's got the West Indies supporters jumping. They haven't had much to celebrate so far.
Good thinking. Also the first boundary that Styris has conceded. There's no protection. The man in the deep. No man at deep point. So gave himself a little bit of width and waited for the ball to come on to him. Played it late. Excellent execution of the shot.
Pulled away. Will this go for four? It will. So Lendl Simmons just spoils Scotty Styris' analysis in this last over and finally gets going.
Because it's a big outfield, the men in the deep were about 10 yards inside the boundary line. He plays it well. This time square of the wicket on the leg side.
Straight through. That's a loose shot. And I'm afraid it's not a successful one either. So the West Indies now fall deeper into a hole that they've really created by themselves on the end of some good New Zealand pressure. They just simply today have not responded.
A bowler as good as Vettori won't fall for the same thing too often. You might get him once with the Mo over mid-wicket. You might get him twice, but at this level you can't be a one-trick pony. And unfortunately, Dwayne Smith with that stroke, those hard leg side hits, looks as if he might be that. Vettori wins the race. It's 176 for 8 as Smith goes for 8. Not far away, out! Vettori is class. Oozes class. So Darren Powell is not the man to help Lendl Simons.
Well, he held the one back to Dwayne Smith, and Smith was through the shot. This time he's just hustled it through a wee bit more. He's disguised it with some flight, but just look at the way it dips late there. And it traps Darren Powell. His front foot has gone nowhere. The umpire has assessed it's going on to hit leg stump, and Daniel Vettori, who seldom has affirmative decisions with umpires, gets one his way and loves every second of it. Powell's gone for a duck. 176 for 9.
Corey Collymore then waits. Here's Vettori on the hat-trick.
Oh, yeah, yes,
And it's survived. Comfortable forward push by Corey. Got it! Job done! Brilliant from Bond. What a performance that is from New Zealand. Every aspect of their out cricket and of their bowling had quality writ all over it.
Well, this is a quick Yorker in anyone's language, but when you're bowling to number 11 and he's got so long to bat, it's just too good. I mean, his feet go roughly in line with the ball, but that's long after middle and off have been rattled into. And Bond is delighted because the plan has come together for him as an individual. Fleming will be delighted because collectively it has too. Collymore goes for a duck. The West Indies are all out here in 44.4 overs for just 177.
That's not a card that's going to lift the hearts of West Indian supporters. It'll make all the Kiwis over here happy, though. 44 for Chris Gayle. He made something of a very difficult start against Shane Bond. 37 for Brian Lara from 49 balls, but it was a real struggle against a high-quality bowling and fielding performance from the New Zealanders. Michael Mason steady, Bond exceptional. Franklin not so good, Oram exceptional, so was Styris and Vettori. That really is a handy attack. Consequently, New Zealand must score at a pretty straightforward rate, just 3.56 and over to win it. They need 178 runs. We'll be back at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in just a short while for all the action in New Zealand's run chase.
West Indies need early wickets here, but they've only got the 2 slips in. It's a good batting surface. Possibly a little more aggression with a gully in, perhaps. Pick up early wicket at 2. Lift the spirits, because the spirits certainly around the ground during the break between the innings very down among the West Indian supporters. Magnificent delivery, magnificent. Again, Powell strikes early. He's done it consistently during this tournament. He's struck with his second delivery, and that's a superb ball.
Good pace from his very first delivery, Darren Powell. And again, right on target. That's what the West Indies need, early wickets, and Darren Powell has delivered again. Look at that seam, very upright. Looking to play towards the onside, and the ball hitting the seam and the straightening instead of going straight on. That's the first one. Peter Fulton goes for a duck. It's 0 for 1 New Zealand.
Beautifully bowled. Leg before appeal. Umpire Ralph doesn't agree, but what a magnificent delivery. Powell really firing here.
Good swing. Did he offer a stroke? That's the first thing. It certainly is swinging back in, pitching, straightening. Well, he didn't offer a stroke, but perhaps the umpire is of the opinion that it didn't come back enough, and perhaps it didn't. Hawkeye will certainly give us a bit better impression. I don't think that would have hit. Just missing off. Correct decision again from Asad Rauf. That will put a second thought, though, in Damon Fleming's mind.
Marshall will get a couple here. So ends the over from Dwayne Smith, who will feel unfortunate that he didn't get a wicket in it. 4 for 1. Just short. Just short of the fielder at slip. 3 of them in there now. Dwayne Smith it is, but short. Didn't carry.
Well, he certainly needs them. He's getting the ball to go away nicely from the right-hander. Not a thin enough edge. Just falling short. Slightly fuller length will do.
Hit well. Off the legs for 4, down through square leg.
Just pushing that one too much towards the leg stump, Darren Powell. That's a problem sometimes when you're getting the ball to do a fair bit away from the right-hander. You tend to look for that magic delivery, pushing it towards middle and leg and hoping that it will swing back towards the off stump. Sometimes it doesn't. And then that happens. You're punished.
Oh, shot. Lovely straight drive. Ball just holding up. Darwan won't get there. A boundary to Fleming ends the over at 16 for 1.
Not much movement off that last delivery from Darren Powell. And of course, with him pitching the ball up, looking for the movement. If nothing happens, it becomes a reasonably easy drive. That's what he has been looking to do, though. He has been looking to pitch the ball up to see if he's going to get any movement off the seam with 2 slips in place. That's a good shot.
Now, oh, Simmons, the fielder, hit those stumps. New Zealand would have been 2 down, I feel.
Definitely. This was a close call. Could hear the fielder shouting, "This ends Simo." Gone. Gone if he had hit.
Hammered. Chris Gayle hit the ball hard today through that offside field. Couldn't have been harder than that. Flashed away.
Well, no one on the offside moved in the air for some time, but right into the gap.
That's 4. That's short, it's wide, and it's 4. So Fleming in ominous form now. He's found his range.
Just a bit too short. At that pace, you have got to be on target every delivery. On such good pitches, at that pace, if you're not right on target, you will be punished by a top-class batsman. And Fleming is one of those.
Here's Powell now. DeMarshall, who hasn't had much of a strike recently, and is edging. No third slip now. Just wide of second slip. Goes for 4. Things not running West Indies' way at the moment, and certainly running New Zealand's way. Happiness is a New Zealander who feels that the match is in their control. And there's one of them in the commentary box now, Ian Smith, and he'll be joined by Mark Nicholas.
Happiness, I might add, Mr. Cozier, is a New Zealander being in control in the West Indies on a very rare occasion and being here to witness it. Those two guys just leaving the back of the commentary box, Roberts and Holding. Remember those two blokes? You were in the commentary box all those years back laughing at us, ducking and diving and weaving and getting hammered on a daily basis. Let us have our moment.
Well, that's out if he hits and he doesn't hit. Amazing how things go, isn't it, in this game? When everything's your way, when you've made the right choices, when you've had the fortune, you hit the stumps. When things are going against you in this game, you miss when you really need to hit. Ramnaresh Sarwan, who ran out Ricky Ponting with a direct hit the other day, can't affect the same thing upon Hamish Marshall. Would have been tight. Out. Caught by Lara at mid-off. A straightforward catch. That must have been the slower ball from Darren Powell, so he deserves some credit. Hamish Marshall is the man who punched it straight into Lara's arms, which is why those West Indians can smile.
They can smile. They've done 2/10 of the job. They simply have to bowl New Zealand out to win this match. It may have been held back. It certainly was still a seam-up delivery. Marshall checked the drive and checked it only as far as Brian Lara. A more comfortable catch he might not get in this World Cup. So the new boy on the block, Hamish Marshall, was not on the block for long. He's heading on his way back. But just 15, it's 36 for 2.
That is a spectacular shot. Again, width, just a bit of width, and Fleming is throwing everything at it. That's a Chris Gayle shot.
Well, this is all Stephen Fleming has to do. Just play each ball on its merits, and he will get New Zealand home here. He's that good a player. It's only when he tries to invent things and plays shots that aren't in his bag, really, that he tries to play like a one-day genius. Because I'm not sure he is a one-day genius. He's just a damn good batsman. He plays straight and covers his own percentage as well. I get 2 here, I would think, quite easily. I might get more. We'll get more.
A clever shot by Fleming. Well aware of the field setting. Long leg had been moved very square, so he just waited and waited and deflected it fine.
That's flown off the bat. Sheer timing and grace combined. It's Fleming, who's looking very, very good. His 6th boundary.
Well, that's beautiful to watch. Well, if you're not the bowler, Fleming getting himself nice and balanced, and it's just his hands just opening up the face, steering it through the gap with power all the way for 4. Just showing his class here, Fleming. He's a big factor. He's 6 out of the 8 fours so far for the New Zealand team.
There is a man in the deep, 2 of them, but they'll be mere spectators. Beautiful way to end the over for Stephen Fleming. It's the maximum. 67 for 2.
Class shot by Fleming. Likes to hit the leg when he does hit in the air. and he's hit that beautifully. There's a man out there, he had no chance. So good leverage, line on leg stump. Fleming taking full advantage. Leaves the pressure somewhat.
They'll take a single, they'll have to hurry. Lara's return hits the stumps. He's gone. Fleming out for the second time in the tournament run out. Direct return from Lara. Ends his rival captain's innings. And Stephen Fleming, again with the base of a good score, run out.
And did he give Scott Storis a look after this? No need for New Zealand to do anything stupid. It goes to the right hand. Fleming didn't get the call early enough, and from that point onwards was always battling. In fact, he gave up. And when he saw that happen, he just kept on going. But before he left, he turned and he looked over his shoulder at Scott Storis as if to say, it's up to you now. 45 at 77 for 3.
He's gone after him, deliberate, and launched him away for 4. It's not quite carried. But Storis here has identified Smith. I'm going to go after him. The only medium pace. How things have changed over the years. West Indies opening the bowling with Dwayne Smith. New Zealand opening the bowling with probably the fastest bowler one of in the world, Shane Bond. Used to be a time when we would have Gavin Larson trundling up, wobbling the new ball around.
Also looking at when New Zealand were bowling and Chris Gale was batting.
This is the Oron one.
A little bit more merchandising there, and Oram was taller, therefore New Zealand also had the tallest player in the two sides. That never used to happen, Tony, I promise you. Bill's doing a great job selling this, aren't they?
And New Zealand, of course, had some of the shortest men. One of them used to keep wicket.
Tell you what, we had some medium-sized guys. After 3 months here, they were all very short.
Enjoy the rest of
Very
the day,
short
people.
and down on confidence. The girls have done an outstanding job marketing at those goods.
Another boundary. So Smith has proved expensive. Hammered through extra cover by McMillan, and just a little bit of pressure which was being exerted by the West Indies now being freed here.
Well, I've been waiting, I guess, for a bowler to target, and it seems as if Dwayne Smith was in their sights, the New Zealanders. First Storis using his feet and pounding him over mid-wicket, and now copybook stuff, but just look at the power from McMillan.
In the air, could be a third boundary here, almost a 6. So Dwayne Smith concedes 13 in the over, raises 100, and raises their arms in triumph as well for the New Zealand supporters. 100 for 3. Well, that's really a long hop at his pace, and just short of a 6. So Dwayne Smith, after his Man of the Match award in the first match, not having the best of times for the West Indies. He hasn't bowled in the last 2 matches. Didn't bowl badly in the opening spell, but coming back here and conceding 3 boundaries.
He's found the gap. It's a big outfield. Also not a quick outfield. It's the opportunity for the batsman to pick up an easy 3. 27 overs gone, 104 for 3.
And that will go for 4, just short of the 4.86, just to get in there.
He has gone the distance. That's the draw of the umpire, just signalling now. Great shot. Made it look so simple, McMillan. On the shorter side, giving the extra bit of time. Not too much of width, but because of the time he has, he waits on it, creates the width, he finds the gap to perfection. The yellow line is what the run rate required right through the innings would be. Red line got off to a slow start, but making good progress upwards. Haven't lost too many dots.
Catch him! Catch him!
Catch him is the call, but no chance for the man at short square leg. He's hit it hard enough for the ball to get to the boundary.
Line again was outside the off stump. Had no chance there, Dwayne Smith. In front of squares where he was placed. That went behind the square. Thing easily brings up the 50 partnership between these two. Styris coasting along. 42 from 63 balls, Scott Styris. 21 from 32, Macmillan.
It's a full toss, but it's firmly struck. Retro stuff from the crowd too.
Well, they're enjoying it. Styris, after taking a long time to get himself going, flourished nicely, get his team home.
Well, they're a real chance. I mean, assuming they finish the job here, these guys could be going the distance in the tournament. They've got Bangladesh and Ireland to come. They'll back themselves to win those two, okay. They might only have to win one more game against one of the major sides to be assured of a place in the semi-final.
We'll get Taylor back as well. Good hard-hitting young batsman. Gillespie, if he can get fit, gives them more options. Fast medium bowler with good skills. They've actually should get stronger as the tournament gets going.
And Gillespie's ideal for these conditions here. He's a clever bowler. He bowls very, very consistent lines and also changes his pace well.
Just seeing another man there too, young off-spinner Patel. He bowled impressively out in Australia. They get on pitches that spin a fair bit more. There's Chris Martin, who come in to replace Daryl Tuffy. He's gone home with a shoulder injury. But they're in a good position, New Zealand. Got players in form. Bond and Mason got them off to a great start, backed up by Jacob Oram and Vittori. Styris doing a job with the ball as well.
Craig McMillan will always entertain you. You'll never quite know what he'll do. You never know where he'll hit it. But you know it'll be worth the watch. It's 138 for 3. Good 50 for Scotty Styris. And he looks in fine fettle. The feet are moving well. The timing is good. He's a most impressive cricketer.
And he struggled early, just had the experience and patience and belief just to stick at it. I think that'd always be thrown to McMillan's end. Make sure he's always pressured for those quick singles. He's timing the ball beautifully as well, Craig McMillan.
Scott Styris wants to get the job done, it seems.
Looks a little bit like an ugly swipe, but he's in good form. Sees the ball early, and he's proactive. He wants to finish this game quickly. Not letting Collymore coming in for his first ball of the spell settle it all. The good stuff there from Styris. New Zealand, there's still plenty of batting to come. Jacob Oram and McCullum and Vittori really got some good batting depth.
It's a great place to hit a full toss, a difficult place to hit a full toss. He doesn't get 4 for it because there's a man back. But he's very strong. He's got powerful forearms. I think he wants an early bath. Oh yeah, that's really, really good. This is turning into an exceptional innings.
Stand and deliver there. Full tosses will go. It's also the placement from Styris. Mid on, back on the fence, Bravo. But his middle were too well to beat him.
I think Sarwan signals the surrender, doesn't it? It's a pity because there's so much talent there. There are cricketers you feel could do special things. They've performed well in Champions trophies, winning one and reaching the final of another, the last two. And of all places and times not to perform to their potential, at home during a World Cup must be the worst of them. Just 4 now needed from 67 balls. I think they'll cope. It's 175 for 3.
Hasn't been a great tournament for the host, the Cricket World Cup. No team whose hosted have gone on to win it. Teams have made the finals. The West Indies need to get their team into some form, and they need it quickly. Left to too few today and against the Australians.
Many tourists out here for the cricket. It seems as if most have settled in one place, which means that they won't necessarily watch their team all the time. Teams are bouncing around all over the islands. England, for example, who are in Guyana, will come here to play Australia. West Indies will go to Guyana to play Sri Lanka. And that lovely stroke finishes the game. A most efficient and encouraging performance by the Black Caps. They look every inch World Cup contenders. They'll be sending shudders through some of the favourites. The Australians and the South Africans are well aware of the capabilities of Stephen Fleming's team. They have all the elements: spin and seam and pace and swing, good attacking batsmen, and plenty of depth. What's more, they've got a class all-rounder in Jacob Oram, who is today's man of the match for me. I don't know if the other commentators will agree, but only Scotty Styris could challenge him for that honour.
That's a job well done. Scott Styris finished with 80, Craig McMillan 33, a splendid partnership that had plenty of adventure at the end. Though don't forget the role played by Stephen Fleming, who was excellent against the new ball and followed up his very thoughtful and positive captaincy earlier in the day. The West Indian bowlers, this is just a story of not having enough support for Darren Powell. 2 for 39 from 10 overs showed what could be done, but Dwayne Smith with the new ball and everybody in backup wasn't quite at their best. There's the result of the game then. New Zealand winning it by 7 wickets. An utterly convincing performance. Jacob Oram was chosen by the commentators as the man of the match. He ripped the heart out of the West Indian top order. He's thought of perhaps more as a batsman and fielder these days, but today he got a lot of bounce, moved the ball around and bowled the most beautiful length. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to New Zealand as well. They've enjoyed their first visit to the Sir Vivian Richards cricket grounds. From all of us here, goodbye.